Hello everyone. As we already discussed about the triangles properties and the different kind of questions which are there in triangle, in this we are talking about the other terms which are being used in triangle. Now suppose we look at a triangle A, B, C. So there are four terms which we use in this. First is the median. Second is the altitude, and with this altitude we can also say this is actually the height of the triangle with a specific base. Third is the angle bisector. Now when I am saying bisector, that means the divided into two equal parts. It is basically divided. This is the meaning of bi, divided in two equal values. That means if some angle is 60 degree and we talk about a line which is bisecting the angle 60 degree into two parts. Here suppose I am saying that this angle is 60 degree and I am making a line which is dividing it into two equal parts which are 30 degrees and 30 degree is known as angle bisector. There is the fourth term which we use is side bisector. Again, the meaning of bisector is when divided into two equal values, but here instead of angle we divide the side into two equal values. So these are the basic four terms which we use in our triangle. Now we are defining about median. When I am saying a triangle having a median, that means that from B to C, whatever the mid value is there, if the length of BC is 20 centimeter, then I am putting a point at 10 centimeter, that is the midpoint of ABC. So BD and DC both are equal. BD is equals to DC. Then we can say that a line from A to the midpoint of line opposite to it is actually the median. So here the median comes out to be AD, where A is one of the vertex and D is the midpoint of the side BC. Now we talk about the another term, altitude. Actually the meaning of altitude is height. And whenever we talk about height, it is always the perpendicular distance from a vertex to the line. This is a vertex again A. From A, if we take a perpendicular on a line BC and we put a value E, so here we are saying AE is basically the altitude or the height of this triangle when BC is the base. We talk about the third term, angle bisector. Suppose this angle have some value like 80 degrees. So from 80 degrees, suppose we draw a line which is dividing this angle into two equal parts. Wherever this line is cutting does not make a difference. Suppose it cuts at a point F, but this line is actually known as the angle bisector. So we are saying AF is the angle bisector, and it is not mandatory that it should be touching at F. It can be after F and it can be before this. So this line, when it starts and where it divides it into two parts or the angle into two equal values, then it is known as the angle bisector. Now the last term is side bisector. When I am talking side bisector, that means dividing the side into two equal parts. We already know in the first case that this is the midpoint of side BC. So definitely point D is dividing BC into two equal values. So what is the difference between a median and side bisector now? Median is a line which starts from A and touching the point at B, whereas side bisector is also known as perpendicular bisector. It means it is dividing the side into two halves, but we are making a line which is perpendicular to the line BC, or which is making an angle of 90 degrees to the point BC. So this line is known as perpendicular. If I make the mark as G and H, so we can say GH is basically the side bisector of side BC. So this is the meaning of side bisector. Now, with these four terms, we come to another four terms which are known as the centroid. Centroid is basically the point where all the medians meet. Definitely in a triangle, as there are three sides, we can make three different medians. So where all the median meet is known as centroid, where all the altitudes meet is known as orthocenter. Where all the angle bisectors meet is known as incenter, and where all the side bisectors meet is known as circumcenter. So these are basically the 8 terms which we use in our in the case of triangle, which we will define one by one in the next videos.